So how could India hit 13 targets, including 8 air bases, so precisely inside various strategic locations in Pakistan? How did Pakistan fail so miserably in this regard? These questions have rattled experts and analysts across the world. Let's now decode India's defense mastercraft. On the intervening night of 9th and 10th May, when Pakistan unleashed its deadliest attack against Indian military and civilian areas with missiles and drones, they were challenged by the impenetrable, the Iron Dome, or the Indian wall of the self-defense called the Akashtir.
It was Akashtir which stopped all Pakistani inbound airborne drones, missiles, micro-UAVs and other loitering munitions and prevented them from entering the Indian airspace. Akashtir is probably the first operational AI war cloud built entirely without any foreign components or satellite dependencies. It successfully provided common real-time target interception, tracked and indulged in drone warfare. It integrates various radar systems, sensors and communication technologies into a single operational framework. Akashtir is part of the broader C4ISR, which is Command, Control, Communications, Computers, Intelligence, Surveillance and Reconnaissance framework, working in coordination with other systems like ISRO satellites and NAVIC GPS. Akashtir's brilliance lies not in brute force but in intelligent warfare. Traditional models of air defense rely heavily on ground-based radars, human-monitored systems, and surface-to-air missile batteries triggered by command chains. Akashtir breaks that mold. Its technology allows for monitoring of low-level airspace in battle areas and efficient control of ground-based air defense weapon systems. Akashtir is capable of intercepting and neutralizing hostile UAVs without detection, using no active radar signatures. Reports indicate that during last Sunday night engagements, the drone attack coordinated by Akashtir entered sensitive command zones undetected, leaving Pakistan's US-supplied AWACS and ground radar systems paralyzed. Akashtir adds a new chapter to our strategic doctrine, indicating a shift from defensive posturing to proactive retaliation against terror threats. Akashtir's presence in our military assets exudes confidence that it gives a clear edge over terror-sponsoring state Pakistan's air defense capabilities. Experts across the world are now terming Akashtir as a seismic shift in warfare strategy. With this, India has emerged as the first non-Western nation to successfully integrate its autonomous drone swarms, indigenous satellite surveillance, and AI battlefield coordination into a single real-time combat platform. In one line, Akashtir has demonstrated that it sees, decides and strikes faster than anything the world has fielded. Unlike conventional systems, Akashtir functions autonomously with drones capable of altering flight path, selecting targets, and coordinating strikes without operator input. The most disruptive element of Akashtir is its combat AI. It absorbs data from multiple fields, weather terrain, radar intercepts, and makes real-time decisions, reroutes missions, and execute attacks autonomously, beating even NATO's current battlefield AI loops. The system is vehicle-based, which makes it mobile and easier to handle in hostile environment. The sensors integrated include 3D tactical radars, low-level lightweight radars, and Akash weapon system. This is beyond anything we have seen before, said many Pakistani defense experts, which is equivocally echoed by many across the globe.
And now we are joined by defense expert Brigadier Jeevan Rajpurohit, retired on the show. Welcome, Brigadier. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in a recent address to the nation, outlined his no terror policy and its three key pillars. Could you simplify for us these three pillars and tell us their significance in the context of Pakistan's sponsorship of terror?
Sure. Thank you so much, Tanvi. The most important aspect that we must understand from our own Prime Minister and the previous briefings that we have seen, the conflict zone that we have seen so openly in today's environment, brings me to very, very conclusive aspects shared by the Prime Minister. He was very clear that the new normal is in here to stay. What does it imply? He very clearly annotated that terror and talks cannot go together. terror and trade cannot go together. So when the export and import between India and Pakistan has been stopped, means Pakistan is devoid of almost 50% of its trade that used to come from India. And he barely used to give us 0.06% of the trade, which didn't really matter. So it will hit him harder because trade is the one that will give him the food to eat. Today you see the inflation in Pakistan and you'll understand. And the third aspect he said was water and blood cannot flow together. He directly hinted at Indus Water Treaty that if you want to flow blood in India, we will not give you water. And there is already hue and cry in Pakistan by the very thought that they will not get water. Second major aspect that he mentioned was nuclear blackmailing. Just before 6th of May, all MPs of Pakistan were on hilltops shouting that they would use nuclear bombs. What has happened? All fizzled out. Because you cannot blackmail India because you have nuclear weapon. In fact, there is already International Agency for Atomic Weapons going into Pakistan, looking in the Kinara Hill, which is supposed to have some leaks. They have taken the samples from there to identify why 2 consecutive earthquakes. That's their capability. So we need to understand that we need not be deterred by the fact that he has the nuclear weapon. He does have Chinese support, but that doesn't deter us from maintaining our sovereignty and integrity. The aspect that he mentioned was Operation Sindoor is a new niti and it continues. The operation continues to be in progress. Therefore, while ceasefire is in existence, it has come about. Should you try a misadventure again, you'll be hit harder than what you got it last time.
And
the another part is retaliation. He used 3 very critical terms. He says, if you do something, we will be very swift and decisive. So he says, we will retaliate at the time of our choosing, place of our choosing, and the terms of our choosing. So we design the retaliation. We will respond, and we will respond to the extent that Pakistan will not be able to take it. The next aspect he mentioned was terrorism, wherever it grows. If it is Pakistan, that means it is sheltered by Pakistan. Therefore, the terrorism and Pakistan are one entity. They are not 2 different entities. So this time we hit terror camps. Maybe next time, Pakistan government, be ready. Be ready. Take it as a very clear warning that you cannot hereafter take us as a talking country, soft country, and so on. We are here to strike. If we could reach Mangalyaan, if we could send Chandrayaan, we are here to give you the toughest time that you've ever thought of. Zero tolerance.
Yes, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi also framed the issue of terrorism in a global context. He said it's not an era of terrorism, if it's not an era of war as well. So how do you see that statement?
Absolutely. In fact, Tanvi, you see, earlier when we were hit by terrorism, the world did not realize. They did not accept. The UN till date does not have a clear definition of terrorism because they have not suffered this. It was only after 9/11, the US was hit and then the Europe was hit that they realized, oh, it is something to be careful about. And the US was the first one to send their troops to India to be trained by Indian troops in counter-terrorism operations. So see, that's where the game lies. So when Modi said, he says, I convey to the world community, he says, we must understand this and there is no tolerance about this. He says, we shall go after this and the world must take cognizance of it. That means the world is already frustrated by terrorism. You see, Germany hit, France hit, UK already inside, America facing the brunt of it. So the world has had enough of it. The world wants to get rid of it, but they cannot take strong actions. So India has shown the way that you can take strong actions. You can be democratically strong government, and you see the sequence of actions that the democratic government has taken. Taking everyone on board, maintaining the perfect sequence with the CCS taking decisions. And even this morning when he spoke to Home Minister and NSA, see the sequence of actions.
Yes.
The sequence of actions says it all, that it is at home and to the world at large. We convey that terrorism is not accepted.
Okay, sir. And I have to talk to you about Akashtir. It has stunned the world. It's making headlines. And as our report also said, it sees, decides, strikes on its own. Why is indigenization of weaponry for the armed forces important for a country like ours? Is it equally important for all the three armed forces, the Army, Navy and Air Force? And which kinds of offensive and defensive weaponry is it most important, and why?
Tanu, you have explained Akashtir extremely well. I must compliment. But more than one explanation, there are n number of explanations on indigenization. You see, it is Make in India scheme that we are on. And if you see the emblem of Make in India, it is a lion with a technology pasted on all over it. So it's the strength with the technology that is here to stay. And it is not, I think the defense is simultaneously being prepared to be self-sufficient in defense technology and defense equipment, weapons and the spare parts and everything else that we need to maintain our defense ecosystem. But you see, we started with we started with Make in India in economics, in society, in space, in ocean and everywhere else. Simultaneously, we focused here, and what we see, when the time has come to deliver, the nation has delivered. Three forces, the intelligence agencies, the paramilitary forces and everyone in the country in this times of crisis has delivered. Why? I'll tell you why. It has added beautiful way to express our context of self-development. Akash is one part of it, which is again Akashtir that you explained. I'll not go more detail into it. The others are like D4 anti-drone system. Any drone of enemy coming inside will be met with the anti-drone system of ours. D3 Rohini that sees the entire area. We are well prepared with this. In order to see the enemy's artillery firing or enemy's missile firing, we have the Swati weapon locating radar system. So the moment enemy fires a surface to surface missile or fires a drone, our weapon locating radar identifies this. So this Swati, which has been developed indigenously, actually ensures the complete surveillance and the transparency in the entire skies, to understand as a layman language. One of the most important aspect in any battle is information of the enemy. Acharya Chanakya said, Dushman ke bare mein sab kuch malum hai, then we need to only apply selective technique. And there are n number of techniques for multiple types of threats that we can manage. And information of enemy is one which we have developed, Sanyukta. The Sanyukta system of identifying, seeking information of the enemy, critical information of the enemy. And actually that has been exhibited. The airstrikes by us, the 9 locations that have been destroyed by our Air Force, the 9 locations of the terrorists, whether it is Bahawalpur, Muridke, Sialkot, right up to Kotli in the north. So this has been possible only because we knew exactly where is the enemy. The next one is that Nagashastra. Nagashastra is the Indian drone that has been developed. And this Nagashastra, you see the name itself. The Nag says it all, that I will not spare you. And this anti-drone is a fabulous, is an Indian drone that's a fabulous system that goes and strikes at the enemy. And enemy could not even identify this. We have seen it shown by our things. And most talked about is BrahMos.
BrahMos, yes.
BrahMos is all 3 variants: Indian Army, Indian Air Force and Indian Navy. Our Indian Air Force has adequately shown it and we have used it. And it is a fantastic weapon which has also been sought by Brazil, Philippines, Indonesia, and
yes, it's a story where lots of success has been achieved, and it will be followed by, you know, our export story will also get more mileage from it. Thank you so much, Brigadier Jeevan Rajpurohit, for explaining to us this indigenized weapon system, our weaponry, you know, on target, which has achieved its missions in Operation Sindoor. That's all the time we have for. Thank you very much, Brigadier, for being with us on the show.